I have another article out here trying to espouse manly virtues, and I want to see if they're doing a decent job on this one. I'll skip all the preamble, and we'll just get to what the central arguments of this is going to be. The inability for some people to define what a woman is gives rise to certain dilemmas. Talking about Matt Walsh's TradCon, what is a woman, all that nonsense. Ketanji Brown Jackson not being able to define what a woman is because I'm not a biologist, you know, all that crap. But then at the same time, okay, all this focus on women, because that's kind of the mental point of origin for a lot of politicians and a lot of public figures that are out there. Oh, how does this affect women first and foremost? Well, you're a dude. You should probably be paying attention to what's going on with yourself first and foremost before you try to go out there and fix the world. You should clean your own room first. Anyways, so what is a man? Let's see if Jeff Minnick, I think we've probably used one of his articles before, but let's see what his terminology of this is. My online Merriam dictionary. Oh, you know you're going to be in for something when somebody uses an online dictionary. Excuse me. The definition of a man is an adult male human being. Another part of the biological. Words are hard sometimes. Picture is, of course, chromosomes. Nearly all males have XY chromosomes, while nearly all females have double X. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's not to be in, you know, like a fence-sitting position. Well, trans men are men. No. When you break it down to a chromosomal level, okay, XY are for men, and then very, 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 very rare exceptions. Biological exceptions. Not, I feel like in the morning, those exceptions. Those don't count, and they shouldn't ever count. I'm sorry, but now my trusty Merriam-Webster has clouded the meaning of these basic terms, added the definition of female is having a gender identity that is the opposite of male. Oh, okay, cool. So now female is opposite of male. Well, that's what the people who are in control have been trying to do forever. Pin in opposition men and women, when in actuality we're better together than we are apart. We are complementary, not adversarial. If they would get there through their head, I think the messaging would change, but we already know what they're after. The definition of male now includes, in the addition, having a gender identity that is opposite of female. It's not how this stuff works. In other words, those of the opposite sex claiming to be male or female wipe away chromosomes and any other visual features of their birth gender. We don't do this with any other animals that manifest the exact same way, but no, we can do with this because we have a capacity for reason, I guess, even though reason has long left the building. Reframing the question. Rather than seeking to answer what is a man, let's substitute this inquiry. What is manhood? What does it mean to be a man? Well, that's kind of capitulating to the whole, you can be a man if you espouse and you display the tributes of what is manhood. What is manly? Sure, manhood is an old-fashioned term. No, it's not. No, it's an apt term. But those offer a better chance at an answer. Jackson, for example, might have delivered a reply to Blackburn had answered, what is the meaning of womanhood? Or what would you define as a female characteristic? That's what it is. Something that is uniquely female. If you could go ahead and do that, that would be wonderful. After all, but again, you know what? She answers the question the way that she's supposed to answer it. The grift is up on both sides because you're going to have Ketanji Brown Jackson, side with her side. And then Marsha Blackburn is obviously looking for that little soundbite that's out there because let's be honest, it's a grift out there. If anybody actually answers the question, it's all over. It's done, okay? Sure, society wins, but who gets paid? Anyways, after 50 years of modern feminism, I'd argue it's been a little bit longer than that. I'd say at least 60, if not 100 years at this point. Out some broad guidelines of womanhood. Yeah, that's right. And those broad guidelines. Anyways, women these days can become whatever their desires and talents allow. A cutthroat tycoon clawing her way up the corporate ladder. Yeah, and then buying a dog and dying alone. You hate to see it. A Marine Corps pilot. 0.1. A banker. Yeah. Only if she has a Steen or a Berg at the end of her name. Jokes! A stay-at-home mom devoted to her family. No. That's just that's stupid. Why? You could go out there and you could just accrue a whole bunch of student loans, which are forgiven now by the government. Yeah, a small portion of them. I did something on the main channel when it comes to that. But no, you're just lazy, or you're submitting to your husband if you're gonna be a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, should be empowering those decisions because that's biologically hardwired into a woman's mind, and that's ultimately, at the end of the day, if she's being honest, okay, what she ultimately wants. For decades, our culture has rained praise and encouragement on its daughters, constantly reminding them that they can be whatever they want, yes, to the detriment of men as well, elevating women by at the same time castigating men for being men, and championing those same women that you've elevated for becoming more masculinized. Not healthy, and now we're finally boring the results of that. We raise adolescent females with the intentions and with goals, cheering them on to be strong, self-assured, and confident of their womanhood, masculinizing them to their detriment. As for instilling virtues of manhood in boys and young men, that's a different story. Yep, no, it's all toxically masculine, and you should just take these pills to be more like Susie. In an essay, The Crisis of Manliness, Walter Newell writes, as a culture, we have never been more conflicted about what we mean by manhood. He addresses problems ranging from absentee fathers and a lack of role models for boys and young men, to the attempts at social engineering, especially in our schools, to eradicate male traits and values, to make young men more like their female classmates. Hey, that's what I've been saying all this time. We should stop trying, Newell said, to re-engineer the human soul to prevent boys from being boyish, while encouraging all forms of the self-expression in girls. Yeah, no, exactly, because women can be everything, right? Still classically feminine, and oh, if you're going to go out there and you're going to be a boss bitch, oh man, that's totally great. Nobody's going to judge you adversely for making those decisions, right? Doesn't quite work out that way. Near the end of this article, Newell importantly notes that boys and young men today need reintroducing to the tradition of manly civility. Oh yeah, no, exactly. And then if you espouse any of those ideas, you get canceled off of all major tech platforms and then pilloried as a sex trafficker. Not talking about anything in particular. Guy who likes sparkling water. Newell sounded this warning nearly 25 years ago. Yep. Statistics and anecdotal evidence, that's just bigotry. That's a sexism. Stop doing that. Few have heeded his words. Google young men failing manhood. Yeah. And you'll find boys, and in many cases males who are considered adults, failing themselves and others, and in large part because they lack any idea of what it means to be a man. Yeah, because the man has been removed from the home, and the masculine role model has been replaced by some soy-fueled being. And then once again, anybody who rises up to fill that void in a young man's life, they get castigated, name-called by 95% of people that are out there, but there is that 5% of people paying attention, and I appreciate them because they're going to succeed in life. They are fulfilling their biological imperative. In 2008, Brett and Kate McKay founded the Art of Manliness website. Okay, 2008, talking about manliness, this could go in a multitude of directions, which frequently features articles written by writers from bygone eras. Oh, this is just going to be tradcon nonsense, as well as helpful tips from men on nearly every imaginable subject. The site's popularity attests to the need even by adult men for guidance in their quest to become better men. Yeah, exactly. Their book, Manvotionals, supposed to be like daily devotionals. That's sad. The McKays began the first chapter with this observation: mention the word manliness these days, and you'll probably get greeted with snorts and giggles. In 2008, yeah, all the way through till today, that's true. You could probably walk that back to about the mid-1990s. All you need to do is just take a look at commercials, sitcoms from that time. What were men portrayed as? Either just out of control, wild narcissists, or just bumbling idiots. Homer Simpson, the entire cast of Friends. Do I need to go any further than Kramer in and of himself? Even Jerry, who was just kind of a bumbling idiot. Jerry Seinfeld specifically. Yeah, no. Those were your masculine figures that were out there. And even still, just going back to the 70s and 80s, Archie Bunker, he was supposed to be one of the prototypes of toxic masculinity, But he ended up resonating with the people who watched the show. It's like, oh yeah, that's like my dad, and he's good, and he's cool, and he's funny. He was supposed to be the antagonist of All in the Family, and ended up becoming a beloved character because he was everything that everybody associated with masculinity at the time from, yes, a bygone era. And guess what? It's not coming back. We just got to course correct. There is no pendulum when it comes to this stuff. Oh, the pendulum's always going to swing back. Oh, we got pulled back so far. If we have conservatives at large seceded enough ground to realize that there's no going back, okay? We're not storming back the fields. We are on the edge of the cliff. We have enough footing for just our own 2 feet. Outside of that, yeah, man, there's no pendulum to swing back on this one. We got to course correct on this one. We got to circle the flank and then attack from the rear. But not like that, though. That's not manly. Just a few generations ago, for example, men such as Theodore Roosevelt, Rudyard Kipling, and other writers, politicians, and commentators promoted the code of manliness. That included virtues such as honor, courage, resolution, and self-reliance. Hey, man, men who... Oh, God, stop making it all about women. Men who treated women with respect. Okay, take a look at modern women. Do they deserve your respect? Do they attribute themselves to the code of femininity? You don't find that today, by and large. Of course, you're going to find, okay, everybody's going to point to their one example that's out there. No, my daughter's like that. Or no, my wife, she's real feminine. Sure she is. You just go ahead and tell yourself that nice, comfortable little lie, and I'll just believe you. Okay, I'll take it on face value, right? Well, let's just move on, because that could be an entire video in and of itself. Kept their word? Yes, of course, you should be a man of your word. Worked hard to provide for their loved ones, fought the good fight, whatever that might entail. Were esteemed by their peers, and often revered and emulated by their sons. All of that's great. All of that, theoretically, in a vacuum, all of those are very good traits and very good qualities. It just needs to be adjusted for the common day. Why manhood matters. All right. The assaults on manhood and now the meaning of woman are triggered by postmodernist Marxism and its handmaiden, the deconstruction of language. Words and definitions matter, and while they're altered and destroyed, the concepts they embody today, for example, institutions like marriage and the family are much diminished in meaning and purpose, in part because manliness has gone missing in action. If the old ideas of manliness, to which there's many men once aspired, have been knocked from their pedestals and broken into pieces, what, we should ask, has taken their place? Absent the old virtues, what does it mean today to be a good man? Our general gender-neutral culture retains some of the old standards. Respect for others, for example, not really. I'd beg to differ on that one. That's what it should be, and that's the way that I purport to conduct myself, but I don't really see that at a wide scale, okay? Everything is a personal attack, and everybody lashes out irrationally, both men and women, so I take issue with that. But the ongoing deletion of male-female attributes and the erasure of virtues and strengths traditionally associated with men and women have left both sexes confused and feeling displaced. Try this experiment. Ask an older male, older than the age of 20, what it means to be a man. Older than the age of 20? You're going to have to go back to probably your father's generation, okay? 40 or 50 years old, okay? What it means for him to be a father. Ask him, what is the place of the father in the family? At the top of it, making the decisions, leading the family. The patriarchy is a good thing. What can be done? Educating people, finding a good, solid male role model, educating yourself on what it means to be a man, shifting your mental point of origin, okay? Because there's a lot of the stuff that's in here. Oh, we need to be better men in order to be better for our women. No, you should be better men for yourself, because a good man is a strong man. A good man is a capable man in many different facets of life. And if you aren't that, then you're worthless. You're disposable. I would wager that a good number of young men can't answer such questions. Why? Because no one has taught them these things. To help our sons become good men, we should aim, and we should do... as we should do our daughters. See, just this cucked out verbiage, it makes me sick. To play to their strengths. We should allow our 8-year-old boy to wave a sword at an imaginary dragon and the bad guys that he watches a movie about King Arthur. Yeah, of course. We should encourage our teens to read historical adventures, to explore Tolkien's Middle-earth. You should just, teach them things that they'll actually use in life, okay, instead of just nerd stuff, but whatever. And to commit to memory some lines and words of manhood from great poets. Yeah, read old, historical stories. That would be pretty cool. Even more, parents, both moms and dads, and mentors like coaches and teachers should be aware that boys and young men are watching and taking lessons from them and acting accordingly. I want to do something about how there's an overwhelming feminine influence when it comes to men. That'll probably be on the main channel, though, because I got some spicy ideas when it comes to that. But just know that your coaches and teachers for young men today are overwhelmingly women. And for the most part, 40% of all births, I'm pretty sure it's all births, okay? 40% of kids are born to a single mother. So they live with a single mother, they go to school, and they're educated by a woman. They never see a man. The only man that they see is on the screen. He's that same bumbling idiot, okay? And if he's not a bumbling idiot, he's a DV awaiting to happen. So yeah. There, more so than ever, there needs to be strong male role models. And whenever anyone does rise up, they get smashed down because it's not in service to women. Pretty obvious to see. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. There are so many resources and experience to give young males a stout foundation of facing the storms of temptation and disaster. By words and by example, we can teach them the duties and pleasures and the joys and the sorrows of what it means to be a man. Exactly. We might differ on a couple of things, but overall, didn't really say all that much. The article itself, I added all the different commentary on top of it. I'm responsible for all this stuff. Was that some of that toxic masculinity coming out? Good. Exert some of it out there. If you're competent, capable, intelligent enough to articulate it, just go ahead and throw it around every once in a while. It's not going to kill anybody. It's not going to hurt anybody. You just might end up showing off something that means to be a man. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.